So it's March 16th. It's a Monday afternoon here in Gokulam, Mysore, India. And once again I've retreated to my rooftop here to it's one of my favorite places to spend the afternoon and to read wonderful books, wisdom books, primarily books on spiritual wisdom. I was down in downtown last week, down at a little bookstore called Ashoka Bookstore, which is right by Devaraj Market. And perusing there, I found a book by Pachuru Rinpoche. It's called Words of My Perfect Teacher, and it is a classical Nyingma, Tibetan Buddhist foundational text on Tibetan Buddhism. Covers many different aspects. Pachuru Rinpoche was a very well-known teacher, Lama, in the last century. He was alive in the 19th century. Born, lived, and died in the 18th century, or 19th century. And the book has particular charm because it is a very practical manual. It is a day-to-day practical manual for Tibetan Buddhism practice, and it was specifically written mostly to benefit more common people like the sheep herders in the plains of Tibet. So it's written in quite a very basic, simplistic language, not going too much into any real esoteric principles or philosophies. So it's very good in that way. The chapter that I was reading today was a chapter on impermanence. The chapter is called The Impermanence of Life, and that's one of the foundations of Buddhist Dharma is the reflection and meditation on the general impermanence of life, on death and impermanence. And one of the main problems in spiritual practice, and one of the main problems with, and it's considered to be one of the primary foundations of suffering and causes of suffering, is the propensity for consciousness to get entangled in objects of the senses, the physical, sensual senses. And not only that, but to take essentially those aspects of life which are impermanent in nature, and then to project or to attach or try to attach some kind of permanence onto them. So by doing that, we create innumerable kinds of suffering for ourselves. So one of the Buddhist practices then is the constant meditation, reflection on the impermanence of life, and particularly on death, to constantly be in a state of reflection on how we don't know basically when or how we're going to die, even though most of us always are kind of in a mode of as if we're going to live forever, or at least that we're not going to die in every moment, which is a real possibility. So let me read you something here. It says, "Do you know for sure when you are going to die or where? Might it be tomorrow or tonight? Can you be sure that you are not going to die right now between this breath and the next?" Nagarjuna, a great Tibetan Buddhist saint, says, Indian saint, "Life flickers in the flurries of 1,000 ills, more fragile than a bubble in a stream. In sleep, each breath departs and is drawn again in. How wondrous that we wake up living still. Breathing gently, people enjoy their slumber, but between one breath and the next, there is no guarantee that death will not slip in. To wake up in good health is an event which truly deserves to be considered miraculous, yet we take it completely for granted." So to meditate on this death in this way, to really cultivate a kind of gratitude for the fact that we never know when or how we're going to die, and that each moment that we're awake is really a miraculous element. This meditation alone can be a very strong spiritual practice and can really affect the quality of one's life in major ways.